Welcome to Astrodology, the podcast that brings you knowledge, wisdom, and principles that can help you find the peace and comfort we all seek and deserve in our lives. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Astrodology with Astrid. Thank you so much for tuning in. It means the world to me. I'm here today to talk about the new moon in Leo. And boy, what a relief it feels to have Leo on deck. Cancer season was really a doozy. I don't know about you, but me and my friends and colleagues and clients, it's been a doozy of a month. But Cancer did its thing, with the support of Capricorn. We have to give Capricorn credit in that Saturn energy. But Cancer is a water sign, and Cancer is the quintessential healer of the water signs. Cancer, the shell represents us turning inward and focusing on ourselves and once and for all healing. I know that I had a lot of epiphanies. I had some unbeknownst things come up to my mind, things that I thought I dealt with and accepted and healed over, but they weren't, but now they are, and I'm excited about it. So let's talk about Leo, this new moon. I can't talk about Leo new moon without saying happy birthday. Happy birthday. There are so many Leos in my life, and when I call out a sign and their birthday, it's someone that they're just not periphery acquaintances. They're people that I've had the absolute pleasure of knowing and spending time with. So again, when I look at my life, some people don't know a lot of people. It's not for me to brag, but I think it's because the work I do, and it's my personality. One of the things I love is meeting and connecting with people. I'm a connector, and that's just who I am. So I'm just going to run down the list. Happy birthday, my Leos. We love the sign of Leo. Leo is like one of the bright spots. I mean, your planet is the sun. So every Leo I know thrives and shines brightly. And so let's go through this list. Don Pollard, Philip Boone, Norma Maldonado, Buha, Ian O'Daniel, Christina Moriarty, I'm sorry, I don't know what your married name is, Deborah Anderson, Latasha Bello, Dorian Levere, Eleanor Kastenberg, Altavis Ferguson, Carmen Atkins, Joanne Rossi, Penny Hockeyan, Samia Atun, I think you got married, Sabrina Almany, Matt Taxon, Alex Bobley, and Shane, is it Burdinsky? My buddy Savannah just married you, and we talk about how great of a Leo, how quintessential Leo you are. So not to embarrass you, put you on the spot. But Leo is probably one of my favorite signs. It's a fellow fixed sign. So Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Taurus were the fixed signs. And fixed sign energy is powerful. It's pretty potent. So this is coming in on 7/24 at 2 degrees. When this new moon arrives, it'll be at 2 degrees at 12:12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, you guys know, if you don't know, I'm a fan of the 12:12 portal. In fact, last year on 12/12, I wrote down 12 things that I wanted to bring to fruition in 2025. And some of the things are checking off the list. But what's crazy to me is several months ago, I started seeing 12/12, 12/12, 12/12, morning or night. If I saw it at night, I was up way too late. But 12/12 all of a sudden started to become part of my reality. So there's that. So look up 12/12. What I love about 12/12, it's a double three. 3 is the number of creation, because Leo, the mantra for Leo is I want. Leo is always expressing what they want and what they need. You'll never have to second guess on that. Keyword is creating. Super, super, super duper creative. Most Leos, they always look fabulous. And when you think of creating, it's not just making things, it's creating themselves. Their aura, the way they dress. And what I love about Leo is if they're not personally doing the creating themselves, They are of a plethora of ideas and opportunities that other people can do. You ask a Leo an opinion about something, they're on the spot, come up with stuff to help you. And power of Leo is magnetism. When you think of Leo, think confidence, think vitality, leadership, ambitious, romance, generosity. Leo sometimes are accused of, focusing on themselves and taking care of themselves. But what I love about Leo, they have a very cascading effects. Oh, I just remembered Carmen Atkins, one of my oldest, dearest friends, was one of these quintessential Leos. Leos take care of themselves, but they are always helping and taking care of others. It's one of their superpowers. So if you're into the fold of Leo, you will, once they take care of themselves and get situated, you will be taken care of. So this 2 degrees is significant because Pluto is also at 2 degrees in Aquarius. This is important because, again, Aquarius is a fixed sign and 2 degrees. So Aquarius, this is important. Pluto is in Aquarius at 2 degrees. Aquarius is Leo's opposite sign. So fire signs have a partnering air sign. Water signs have a partnering earth sign. So the partner for Leo is Aquarius. So 2 degrees and 2 degrees. 2 plus 2 equals 4. 4 is grounding. And so Aquarius is innovative. It's nature. It's about moving into the future. And Leo is a fire sun sign. So the idea is it's summertime. It's right on track to have all of this fire. So we are in retrograde season. That's what I wanted to say. So only Leo could deal with coming into its new moon during all this retrograde activity. So Neptune is in retrograde. Saturn is in retrograde, and Mercury went retrograde on the 17th. Now the crazy part is Mercury will be in retrograde the entire Leo season. The entire Leo season. And so Leo is, to me, Leo is heart for sure, but it's also voice because letting that roar. So it's interesting that Mercury is communication, but also Mercury rules the mind. Leo is very smart and very strategic. So this retrograde started at 15 degrees. 15 degrees is the royal star number of Leo. So royalty, the number 15 is royalty. And as we know, Leo is ruled by the sun. So then Mercury also sextiles Venus at 15 degrees. So we've got 15, which equals a 6. And so 6 is the number of love and 2 is the number of partnership. It's spot on for Leo. So Leo helps us connect with others from our heart space. The theory of the Wizard of Oz and the lion needed a heart, where all along he had the heart, he just didn't know it. He had the courage. So Leo rules our hearts and it governs our creativity. It's our house, our 5th house of romance, of children, of pleasure. And it's about passion. When you think of Leo, you can't help but think of passion. So during retrograde season, we want to go deeper. Our retrogrades aren't to be feared. And again, I better knock on wood for this because it seems like so far Mercury has been very cool, but it's still too early to tell because, we're just entering Leo season on the 22nd. So during a retrograde, we want to go deeper because those planets literally come to a cosmic pause and they appear to be going backwards so that we can stop and figure out, are we heading in the right direction in how we're being and how we're living? Are we doing it in the correct way? Correct may not be the right way, but correct is for you, how you feel inside. So this is about you wanting to shine. And once you shine, you can help others shine. So during new moons, we can make wishes. It's about making wishes about what we want. You can ask for anything that you want, but the idea is that whatever you wish for or want for, tap into the energy that's on deck. So since this is all about Leo and the sun, you want to do it related to Leo type things. So further, it says to further activate the wishes being granted. So in order to superpower those wishes, you think of Leonic, is that a word? Leonic type things. So Leo is romance, it's true love, it's children, it's your inner child, it's creativity, it's having fun, it's pleasure. When you think of Leo, it's that completing things you've always wanted to do in your life, like what's on your bucket list. Also, Leo is leadership. So when you think about Leo and Mercury being in retrograde, what's going to happen is we want to temper our conversations. We want to pick our battles on when to talk and what to talk about. In astrology, Leo rules the heart, and the heart is where we heal. The heart is magnetic. The heart is not dead. You know, when they put pacemakers in people's hearts, they're clicking into the electromagnetic energy that exists in the heart. So it's about letting our inner light shine, but the heart has an electrical field. A lot of people don't understand this. The heart is 60 times greater in aptitude than that of the brain. Think about it. 60 times greater in aptitude than that of the brain. But what do we give credence to? We give more credence to the brain, to the heart. So the idea is we want to be coming from the heart. You know, there is coherence. So the heart is the reason we have coherence. When the heart and mind and emotions are energetically in alignment, you get this amazing cooperation. And this is when you have the heart and the mind and the emotions in alignment, you get physiological resilience. That means that everything that comes at you, you'll be able to handle it. And the idea is when you're in resonance and flow, not much crazy comes at you because you are in flow. It's important that we're really aware of the crazy things. Like right now, there's this collective trauma that we are part of. So FYI, show yourself some grace. If you're feeling a little down, a little depressed, if you're feeling scared, nervous, irate, uncertain, you're right on track. But we try not to let this negativity and the fear overtake us, because your system will be out of sync. So what will happen is when our systems get out of sync, you know, I'm speaking to a broad audience, but those in my generation and maybe the generation after will understand the fuzzy TV screen when you lose connection and it's just like the white static noise. So that's why we need to do our best. It's hard, I won't lie. It's hard to stay grounded. It's hard to stay positive. It's hard to not feel yourself slipping into a depression with everything going on, because everyone is dealing with something. Everyone's passing through something right now. So many, myself and my friends, are going through some crazy stuff right now, but you know, we're making it through it. So remember that your heart is a transmitter to the world. So because the heart is the transmitter to the world, what are you putting out there? What are you putting out of the world? So the more of us that do this and understand this, the better the world will be. What I love about the heart is that, you know, it's wordless. You don't have to use words. People can feel it. People can feel when you're coming from your heart. So again, the heart is a transmitter. So Leo helps us to find the balance between, no matter how difficult things get, being lighthearted and courageous. Sometimes Leos are deemed guilty to be self-obsessed and self-centered. But at the end of the day, like I said, once Leo takes care of themselves, they take care of the pride. So the idea is during this time is looking back to just see, especially since retrograde energy is about moving back. I felt like we cleaned up a lot during Cancer season, but what needs, you know, because again, Leo is about what I want. I want this, darn it, and I'm going to get it. What needs from the past that have not been met? What did you let slide? What happened in the past? So during any type of new moons, it's time to be in conversation with the universe and set your intentions of what you want. and who you are, and trusting that the universe will respond with love. It also asks that you keep the desperation and the fear out of our intentions. The idea is trust the process. Well, that's easier said than done. So trust the process every day, most days. We're humans and we're going through a lot. We're passing through a lot collectively. So show yourself some grace. Setting intentions is one thing, but the idea is you've got to commit to them emotionally. I know there's a thing out there, especially in the manifestation world, fake it till you make it. I think that's true day in, day out. But with the new moon, you want to commit to your intentions with your entire heart. So you want to make intentions and commitments on things that, even if they feel uncertain, even if it feels like you're not going to get it, trust that your intentions will appear because you are actually worthy of them. Our intentions, if you have an intention, the idea is if you have an intention, you have a thought, that it's coming through for a reason. You wouldn't be having the intention if it wasn't capable of manifesting. I love this thought. I read this thought. This was from Yoga Journal. And it says, setting and committing to intentions takes vulnerability. This process can bring up fears of your visions not coming true or coming in an altered form. It can make you doubt your ability to manifest them. It also can make you feel insecure about deserving your visions. You may even ask yourself, if they don't come true, does that mean I don't deserve them? Or did I do something wrong? And gosh, that tendency to say, did I do something wrong? Or maybe it's not meant to be. That's some of the falseness that goes on because there is specific timing, which is annoying. Leo teaches us that courage comes when we face our vulnerabilities and we still love ourselves through our foibles and our vulnerabilities. It's about courage and confidence when we show up and commit to something even when we're scared. That's when the courage and the confidence showed up, when you move forward, when you're scared or worried, not before. Not before. So, with our hearts on the line, we have to be careful. We have to be careful that we are really, really putting ourselves forward. So to embrace the new moon in Leo energy, we have to come back to love for ourselves. Leos are great about taking care of themselves. They really, really look out for themselves. So on the 23rd, Venus goes into Gemini on the 23rd. This is a big deal. And Mars goes into Virgo. So this is creating this kind of crazy square. But, there's a lot happening in the sky right now with these lunations. On the day of the lunation, Saturn retrogrades, is in retrograde in Aries. Neptune already retrograded in Aries. And Uranus in Gemini. And Pluto, I forgot, is retrograde in Aquarius. So we have 4 retrogrades happening right now with this new moon energy. So Saturn is a taskmaster, but it brings order. And it allows us to approach any situation that comes above us with strength and integrity and with assurance. So it increases our sensitivity to the circumstances because Pluto retrograde, Pluto is all about transformation. It wants to transform something. So Pluto's not done from all our healing that we thought we did with Cancer in Cancer season. Romance will be highlighted during Leo season as it ought to be. Leos are the natural born lovers of the zodiac. So your relationships may be tested during a retrograde. Venus is not in retrograde, so we're actually good. I say it's not the greatest time to start a relationship during retrograde season, but we live in the real world and sometimes we have to. But the idea is let the red flags be red and make sure you pay attention, okay? We can use this new moon really, really to help us deeply understand what motivates us, what triggers us, and finding out the reason that causes us to react in a particular manner. I know that meditation is so important for this. Literally just sitting and asking questions and letting things percolate up without having to have it, having the perfect answer. So in this lifetime, as we've learned, no matter what we do in our lives, we evolve and transform, we grow. So we have to look at how we have been being thus far till coming to July 2025. So the idea is growth is challenging, but it's necessary. You know, as Steph Curry, the basketball player, loves to say, enjoy the journey. And he's right. You know, we get so knickers in a twist, and he's such a great example of this. When they win, he's not elated, he's happy. When they lose, he's not blown away and devastated. You know, he stays that middle path, which is great. So let us take the energy of Leo, beauty, freedom, independence, and really the intention, one of the intentions that we need to set and be sure to click into is self-love and self-care. So no matter what happens, whatever intention, maybe there's an intention from Cancer that you're still working on. Lord knows, maybe there's an intention from January coming into the new year that you're working on. But the idea is add a sprinkle of love to it. Add a sprinkle of love. We're all worthy of the respect, equity in our lives. And, you know, we're allowed to receive that. So receiving is just as important as giving. So during this Leo season, you'll get an opportunity to really give to yourself. You know, oftentimes we're good at giving to others, but maybe not to ourselves. So I just want to spend a moment talking about these retrogrades for a moment, just what to do or how to use this retrograde, because this is important. A retrograde wants us to take a cosmic step back and say, am I heading in the right direction? And so each of the planets govern certain qualities in our lives, you know. They govern qualities that, you know, affect different areas. So the Neptune retrograde, Neptune governs our spirituality, our intuition, the invisible realm, the veil, so to speak, our dreams. So Mercury wants us to look at how we've been deluding ourselves, any illusions or dreams that resonate with our soul. So Neptune retrograde is saying, is it time to just let go of those dreams that you had? Maybe they just don't make sense anymore. So during this retrograde, just notice where you've been using spiritual bypassing to avoid your emotions. And you want to get clarity on which creative or spiritual pursuits truly inspire and motivate you. Okay? So to work with this retrograde, nighttime is the right time for Neptune because Neptune covers our dreams. So the idea is you can program yourself when you go to sleep at night. You can ask a question. So this is a place to ask questions. If you're confused, you don't know what to do, nighttime is the right time with Neptune in retrograde. You know, each evening you can journal about it, but you can ask the question. You can literally take up a journal, write down the question of the night. I'm going to do this myself. Write down a question that you have as you fall asleep, and then see what happens when you wake up in the morning. I guarantee you'll have clarity or some kind of answer. So Saturn is retrograde. Saturn governs commitment, structure, discipline, execution. It represents the work that we must do. So Saturn is all about, hey, Neptune, you have these lofty dreams and ideas, but somebody, how the heck are you going to get it done? And that's Saturn. So Saturn helps bring our dreams into tangibility. So when Saturn is retrograde, we're asked to be more responsible. You know, what are your true priorities? So this ties into Neptune. So Neptune, what are these wacky dreams that I'm having? But how does that relate to what I need to do? with Saturn, it's about taking your power back. It's about recommitting to the intentions of the projects that truly matter to your growth. See the theme here? So I love this. I ran across a thought that said, make a commitment inventory. List everything you're currently committed to. Then honestly assess which of these commitments align with your highest intentions. Honestly take an inventory. I love that. And the beautiful Mercury retrograde. Mercury governs communication, thinking, information, technology, processing, and one thing I forget is short-term travel. So we're invited to see how we express ourselves and communicate with our inner voice. Our inner voice is that think bubble that, when someone's talking, that think bubble is activated. It reminds me of the cartoons, and there's that think bubble. And the think bubble, this inner voice is that think bubble that you're thinking things, but depending on who you're talking in the conversation, that you better not say it out loud. So Mercury in Leo, since this is in Leo, we got double Leo energy here. We've got the sun and the moon, and we've got Mercury in Leo retrograde. Expression during this retrograde, it's about turning inward. Again, here's that same theme. Is what I'm thinking and what I want to say supporting the manifestations of my vision? So the idea is it a match? So I've dreamed up all this stuff. Saturn comes in and says, let's make sense. Let's make it make sense. Let's put it in order and make sure that it's what you really want to be chasing after. And then Mercury comes through as, am I doing the writing? Writing, when I think of writing, am I setting the process? Am I doing the work? Am I doing the planning? That's the word I'm looking for, planning. So the idea is creating space during Mercury retrograde. Don't let yourself get caught up in the hype of Mercury retrograde, because with Leo season, you may something that you may want to regret. So maybe use the 24-hour rule. If you want to read someone the riot act, wait 24 hours before you say something. I guarantee you'll be diffused, or sleep on it, or take a pause or breath before you speak. So despite these three planets being in retrograde, I'm not even talking about Pluto being retrograde, because Pluto in retrograde is old news. It's not new to this lunation, but this creates a planetary retrograde synergy. These are all potent planets with potent things that affect us. So remember that retrogrades are here to cause problems. That's not their purpose. Their purpose is everything has its exact opposite in order to have harmony and wholeness. So we gotta have retrogrades. So retrogrades don't cause problems. The idea behind a retrograde is to show us what's already there and to reveal and open up what's waiting for our attention, what needs our attention, and what needs healing. So as we go into Mercury retrograde, say hallelujah. But Mercury retrograde in particular, slow down. Crazy accidents happen, freak accidents happen, because during retrogrades, that's just the energy. So the idea is not to sign any contracts or make any major decisions. But we live in the real world, so the idea is to double check, triple check everything before you sign. Like, we have to go forward and do things, but it's about being mindful. Mercury rules the minds, and unfortunately, most of us run about our days just with this mindless energy. So, easy peasy, right? Not so much. So, Leo, new moon in Leo, time to refresh your intentions, make some new ones on 7/24, coming in at 12 degrees. That's a 333. That's a 6. That's love, which ties into the great superpower of Leo. Leo is fire, it's sun. So let's enjoy this season of summer, because it's spewing by very quickly. Once we get to the equinox, I swear it starts to automatically turn to winter. So enjoy the summer, these last few weeks of summer before kids go back to school. Enjoy life, make the enjoyment of life a goal. I know that sounds corny, but July has been a very powerful, life-changing month. And Leo just wraps it up and puts a nice bow on it. So the entire retrograde in Mercury is taking place in Leo. So again, tempering your conversations. So retrograde seasons aren't something to fear. They're something to help us. They're a tool. Just like we have a toolbox for other things, retrogrades are all about what tool are you using, and is it the appropriate tool for right here, right now? And the great thing about Leo season, no matter how bad things get, Leo energy will help you to be more lighthearted about it, maybe even laugh about it. And I leave you in closing with this to remind you that whenever a lunation is on deck, the first 3 days are the peak energy, but we have 2 weeks to live out this energy. Looking for romance? Leo season is one of the best times to put your best foot forward, get on those dating apps, get yourself out seen. During Leo season is one of the greatest times to find a partner. Mercury retrograde makes it tricky again. Look before you speak. Listen before you speak. But if you're looking for romance, that's one of the qualities of Leo energy to help bring that romance in. And don't be surprised if people from the past start popping up. When Leo comes on deck, people start getting in the feels and their feelings. So don't be surprised if you get a call or text or communication from an ex. And don't be surprised if you dream about your ex. All of a sudden you wake up kind of, depending on what happened with your ex, either terrorized or heart racing, but it's a time of reconciliation. Oftentimes when breakups happen, marriages dissolve, and people get back together, I don't know what the statistics are, but statistically they don't last. They may last for a while. Beating the odds of getting back with your ex are usually lower. So oftentimes it was like, I'm reading a book by Edgar Cayce, and he talks about soulmates. So oftentimes you were in a past life with someone, and in this lifetime you come back together to work it out. And if you're unevolved or unaware, most of it's unaware. As I'm reading about these soulmate stories, it's like, gosh, if they only knew that, yes, we're supposed to go head to head. We're supposed to have these firestorms because it's something we need to work out that we didn't work out in a past life. I'm going down a tangent, but suffice it to say, as my teacher Brian Kest always said, relationships are the toughest yoga on the planet. You think a yoga class is tough? Try a relationship. So the idea is relationships are here to teach us. They're not here, there are times we have compatibility and warm and fuzzy, but when you really love someone and you're able to be vulnerable enough to open up, when true healing can happen, then you can evolve forward. It's all about communication. It's all about misunderstandings and communication. But Leo season is your retribution. It's your time to reconcile it. And this time you can chase after, hunt down like Leo does, and get that partnership, that dream of your life during Leo season. Even if it doesn't happen during Leo season, set the intention during this time and you will see it come to manifest when we get to the full moon in Leo in approximately 6 months, because it's a cycle. New moon, full moon in Leo, new moon in Leo. When you do complete the cycle, then that intention is complete. Thank you for listening to this episode of Astrology with Astrid. Happy new moon in Leo. And I send you lots of love and light, and take good care of yourself. And I'll catch you in the next episode of Astrology with Astrid. Namaste. Thank you for listening to Astrodology. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help support the podcast, please hit the subscribe button and tell your friends about it by sharing this program on social media. You can also follow me on Instagram at Coda Life Goddess or at codalife.com. Coda is C-O-T-A, Coda Life Goddess or codalife.com. Thank you again for listening to Astrology, and I'll see you next time.